One take. Everyone knows the rules. Or at least that's a rule that I'm going to be implementing because I don't want to overthink what this is, how I look, if people are going to watch it. I'm just making this mostly for myself and as a journal. So I think this first video might be a little bit longer, just because I think it's necessary for me to kind of tell a little bit of my origin story, if you will. I went to Indiana University and graduated in 2016, ripe old age of 22 years old. And in school, I studied sports marketing and management. I minored in marketing, business, and financial literacy through the School of Public Health. I was part of a fraternity, Delta Tau Delta. I was heavily involved in a sports marketing club. We went on trips and did a lot of fun things there. I had multiple jobs, one of them as a Coca-Cola student representative. Got a lot of free Coke on that one. And got the opportunity to travel abroad in South Africa, which was a life-changing experience for me. But back to acting. So I went to school and sports marketing was my thing. You know, that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I did. My sophomore year, I decided that I had some extra credits because I had gotten through all my gen eds and I needed to keep a certain amount to keep my financial aid. And so I was always kind of artsy when I was younger. I loved to draw mostly, and I loved art class. But I always kind of kept it a little bit of a secret because I wasn't sure how that was going to be perceived, or I don't know, maybe I was just insecure. And funny enough, when I was younger, I was actually extremely shy. I played baseball, and that was my sport, and I had a lot of friends and still have a lot of friends through that, still stay in touch. I love baseball. It gave me a lot. But my sophomore year, I decided maybe I'd take a pottery class, maybe I'd take a drawing class, a sculpting class or something. And I was talking to my mom and she said, "What do you think about an acting class?" And that kind of sparked that interest for me where I was like, oh, I've never done that before. I had always played baseball and performed in that sense, but I never put myself out on a stage or learned lines. That was the thing that I was mostly stressed about, and still sometimes do continue to get stressed about. I'm trying to work on what my process is so that I don't get too in the weeds on having to memorize something. But my sophomore year, I took a class with an instructor named Rob, and he was fantastic. We did yoga. He was super cool. We did improv, whatever that was. I had no idea what that was. And he was a really good instructor, and I met some good friends in that class that I still stay in touch with, a couple of them. But I didn't get the bug. And so a couple years later, my senior year, I had once again had some extra credits. And at that point, I decided that I wanted to take a step up and take a scene study class. So I snuck into a theater major only scene study class. And I remembered the instructor on the first day, he pulled me aside and was like, "Hey John, we have too many people in this class and you're not a theater major, so technically I'm supposed to kick you out of this class, but this is my last semester here. So as long as you commit to the work, you can stay." And I told him that I would. And that's exactly what I did. I did 3 scenes, learned a lot. Still didn't have the bug. I moved to Chicago. I moved to Evanston, Illinois, where I stayed to work an internship in sports marketing in their marketing department. So I did exactly what I wanted to do. I did exactly what I set out to do. And I was living with my friend's mom. Shout out Patty. I was staying in their third level, which was basically like an extra apartment, and wasn't paying like she told me not to pay rent because I think I was getting paid like $15 an hour working this marketing job as an intern. And that's what I did. I went in on the train every day, and I remember getting there dressed in, not I would never was the full suit guy, but I put the slacks on and the collared shirt, white collared for sure. And I remember I got in there one day and I was working on a project, and I remember I was sitting in my cubicle, and I remember looking to my right, looking to my left, and I remember thinking to myself, the ripe old age of 22, I was like, is this what the rest of my life is going to be like? And that idea of waking up, going to work, making dinner, watching something on Netflix, going to bed, and doing it all over again, it didn't make sense to me because I felt like there's so much more that I could do. I felt like I could do. And so I thought really hard about what were some things that I loved, and one of those was acting. So I asked Patty and my friend Max if they knew any local theaters, and honestly, I wanted to take a class just to kind of escape, I guess, to kind of let loose, to try something new, to explore what this feeling inside me was. No intentions of anything. And I found the Piven Theater, which was founded by Jeremy Piven's parents. And I had my first instructor there, Ryan Kitley, who I still stay in touch with today. He was actually a major factor in my life, and I'm glad that him and I crossed paths. I took a scene study class, but this time I felt like I was really doing it more for myself. Not that I wasn't at IU, I think I was just exploring. But this time I was like paying for a class and was committing the time, and I loved it. And I think it was November of 2016, I did my first play. Almost Maine, directed by Ryan Kitley. Yeah. Played 3 different characters, and it was a freaking blast. I loved it. And through the Piven Theater, I met Amanda, and she was the one who asked me, and I don't even think either of us either remember if this was at the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, who knows. And she had asked me if I could help her then boyfriend, Max, work on a short film, playing James. And I was like, sure, I'm game. Once again, never thought that I would really dive too much into film acting because I was at that point so obsessed with theater acting, reading biographies and anyway. So I remember whatever day it was, we figure out the location, and it was someone's house, and I remember I drove that car, and that video is my family's. Gosh, I don't even know what year it is. Bravada, that white Bravada, and a bunch of my friends know the Bravada. It's a great car, and I knew nothing about my character. I think I don't know when I got the script, but I might have done like, I need to memorize my lines. Like I was all about memorizing lines. I got to make sure I get my lines down, and. When I look back on it, and I'm not going to be hard on myself because that's not what this is about. I look back and I'm like, you're breathing a lot, bro. You're a lot of huffing and puffing, and, those locks too, that long hair. And I'm not going to say anything about anything else other than my acting. You know, the team was fantastic. Max is awesome, awesome dude. Amanda was there, and she's great, and her and I still stay in touch. And it was a really great experience. I unfortunately do not remember what his name was, or who the sound guy was, or any of this other stuff. So I do apologize, team, if you guys maybe one day see this. I don't know, but yeah, I remember first shot. We shot it all in order. I think maybe we shot maybe 8 hours that day, 6 or 8 hours that day, and it was in the car. It was all like one tracking shot. You know, you could see that the camera's a little shaky, coming up to the door, and yeah, my character had just received the news that his mother is dead, has been dead for like a couple months, and and the older brother decided not to give him that information, and so he comes back in a heat and gets into a fight with his brother about why he didn't tell him that his mother's dead. So I don't know where the inspiration for it came from. All I know is that it was my first opportunity to work on a short film, and I'm proud of that. I am proud of that, and I'm proud of this project. And when I was at IU, I remember I had done 2 other short films, first time ever, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get those, unfortunately. So I am claiming that this is my first short film, but there are 2 that are out there in the ether. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe I don't want to see them. But yeah, I mean, I remember I don't even know that we were going to be doing the fight stuff. And it was like, all right, it's time to fight. And like spry, at that point I was 23. I was like spry, like yeah, let's fucking fight, man. Let's do it, dude. And we're just going at it. And no blood was spilled, but there was we were wrestling pretty solid. And gosh, Animus. It's a good time. Good time. And at that point, even after I finished that movie, still wasn't even about film. I was just like, I'm helping Amanda out, And then I watched it and I was like, that's pretty fun. Like, that was cool. I enjoyed that. I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to do film now. I went back to doing theater and seeing shows and going to Steppenwolf and volunteering at the Goodman Theater because I couldn't pay for plays. I would just watch them for free by ushering. It was a moment in my life that I will cherish. I will cherish. Animus. Hashtag young cola. 23-year-old cola. Thinking about bringing the locks back. Thanks, y'all.